welcome back, welcome back. My name is Mazes. Okay, welcome back. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. So, the sentencing, that's what we are now waiting for. The sentencing is to happen any moment from now. The judge told us 10 minutes to 4. It's now 3:55, and yet we are seeing nothing yet. We are seeing nothing yet. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Comfort is asking, when am I going live? I'm live already. Can't you hear me? Can you see me? And one thing I can do is, I have headache. I don't know. The whole thing is, I think the whole thing just gave me headache now. I have headache. Ah, man, it's quite. Anyway, we'll stay professional. So no, let's get it, people. What do you think is going to happen? Thank you very much, Gladys Onyabo. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well done, thank you. Please, can we share, like, and subscribe? Can we share, like, and subscribe? We are going to be doing a recap as to what happened. I know many of you sad day. Yes, you're not alone. I know many of you will not know, so especially some of you who have gone to work. We may ask you to please share, like, subscribe to this. So earlier today there was an altercation between the Nnamdi Kanu, and when he made his when he read his statement. Oh, Akeme, you're watching live from Germany. Ich hoffe, dir geht's gut, ne, Bruder? Alles klar bei dir, ne? Das Kind auf dem Bild da ist ganz schön, ne? Okay, so let's listen to Nnamdi Kanu.
An order. This motion, my lord, was filed on the 12th day of November, praying this honorable court for the following reliefs. An order referring the substantial constitutional questions raised in this trial to the Court of Appeal pursuant to Section 2952 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and an order staying further proceedings pending the determination of those referred questions. The supporting affidavit was deposed to by my younger brother, Prince Emmanuel Kanu, together with all annexures. My lord, my written address filed in support of the motion, wherein I adopted and argued the three jurisdictional issues submitted to your lordship for your determination. There was also a further and better affidavit and my reply on points of law filed in answer to the respondent's counter affidavit and written address. My lord, I respectfully urge your lordship to deem all these processes as argued and to grant the reliefs exactly as set out on the motion paper. And in a brief overview of what is contained in my motion, my lord, my contention is very simple. That at the initial, this court lacks jurisdiction to try me, that this very court is a material defiance of an appellate court judgment, the Supreme Court, with specific regards to count 7, which does not exist in the laws of this very country, and which the Supreme Court mandated this very court to amend. That hasn't happened. The presence of count 7 on this charge sheet, my lord, nullifies this entire proceedings completely and totally, because count 7, my lord, does not exist in the laws of this very country. When I reply on points of law, I will make specific references to the ratio that came down from the Supreme Court, where my Lord Lawal Garba explicitly stated that Term 7 should be changed. That hasn't been done, my Lord, and this court is in contempt of the Supreme Court binding order. My Lord,
So, people, after this was done, after he made this presentation, and there was also another case of just be rest assured we are monitoring. They haven't started. We are on all the platforms here. They haven't started. The judge hasn't started, right? For instance, this is channels, call to resume sitting. Like, that's why I started early, but the court hasn't started, so they are not here. But I'm trying to use the opportunity to build up some of these for some of you who may have missed what happened. Now, after he made the statement, the prosecutor actually made their own submission after listening to him, right? The prosecutor made his own appeal, basically, almost like appealing what Nnamdi Kanu just said.
To the
And
first
this
motion
is submission.
on the 14th of November 2025. We also filed a reply, a counter affidavit and a reply in respect of the first motion. For the second motion, we also filed a reply, all on the 14th of November 2025. For the third one, for the further application for bail, we did not file any counter affidavit. So for the first one, sir, I respectfully adopt the counter affidavit of the prosecution and the written address.
Okay, so we need to go back now. They have started. We can get visuals now, but nothing yet. No audio. I believe this will be quick, surgical, and fast. But the moment they start, I'll bring you back. So let me allow the prosecutor to, finish his submission. Then we can go back to the court if they start.
Counter affidavit of the prosecution and the written address. And we urge your lordship to dismiss the application because it's a regurgitation or repetition of the well-worn argument that the counts which the defendant pleaded to were unknown to law. It is for your lordship to determine that in other ones. But the one asking for stay of proceedings, my lord, our argument is to the fact that the statute does not permit your lordship to grant any stay of proceedings or injunction. So we ask your lordship to dismiss it. And for the second, we also filed a written address dated 14/11. We adopt it with all respect, and we urge your lordship to dismiss the application as lacking in merit. For the last application, asking for the defendant to be admitted to bail on the same ground that, the counts to which he pleaded not guilty were unknown to law. Again, is a repetition of the old argument. It is for lordship to determine whether the laws were valid, whether his plea was valid, and whether he is answerable to the law when he committed the terrorism acts. The terrorism acts he committed was...
Please,
So we urge your lordship to dismiss the application. On the other ground is also to the fact that the applicant has another pending motion filed in March, in April 2025, asking for the same relief, bail. So the latter bill, the latter application with respect, is an abuse. In any event, none of them merits. We urge your lordship to dismiss it.
Please, let's save the time of the court.
We appeal your lordship to dismiss all the applications because they lack in merit and do not deserve any consideration at all. Thank you, my lord.
Okay. So that was what the prosecutor said in countering Nnamdi Kanu's submission. Now, afterwards, Nnamdi Kanu made a case for him to submit a written address. Now, in this case, in trying to submit the written address, which was meant to be submitted today, that means that the whole thing would have been shifted to a different date, but the judge refused. And then Nnamdi Kanu made the following point.
Final written address is a constitutionally mandated right which I must be granted. It is in the constitution of this very country that final written addresses, my lord, must be granted. I have not waived it, my lord, and I insist that I address this court on all these issues. My lord, do not forget.
Defendant?
My lord.
Consultant, can you tell your...
My lord, I will not, please, let me finish.
Please.
It's my case.
I've gone...
It is my case, my lord, let me finish. My lord, this very court, another idea that FAN was here, my lord, another idea that FAN said, at the right time we will contradict and provide a piece of evidence. A piece of evidence. I need to write my family address, my lord,
on count charge which reads thus.
my lord, my lord, I'm saying it clearly.
Defendant,
I'm trying to come to address.
defendant,
What is the family address? The Constitution. My family address.
defendant,
The family address.
can
What
you,
is it?
can you listen to the court?
I'm not, my lord, please, please.
Can you listen to the court?
My lord, I need to find my family written address. It's in the Constitution.
I appeal to you to comport yourself this temple of justice.
My lord, you're blessed. You are blessed.
At this point, Justice Omotosho, just like he has done previously, Omotosho was criticized by some of those who were against Kanu to say that he was too lenient when Kanu fired his lawyers because the language used on that day was not reflective of a language a judge that was hostile. So he was asking, can you refrain? In this case here, he used such similar words once more, asking Nnamdi Kanu to calm down and to let this issue be addressed.
This is not law. You are blessed. It's not law.
And again, this, this more or less like a default setting of then accusing the judge of not knowing the law. Whether this was one of the things that ilked the judge to order the DSS to work him out, I don't know. I do not know.
Please, I beg you to comport yourself.
My lord, this is not law. Show me where it says you can waive my right to
Beg you to
Show me.
comport yourself.
Show me where it says you can waive my right to family written address. And I sit down.
You
Show me.
in the
My
name.
lord, you are conducting the case for them. You are wearing the case for them. Let them show me the Constitution. Show me where it says. Show me where it says so.
Excuse him at.
The microphone, either the battery or the range is faulty at this point.
Please,
So at this point, DSS was moved in to collect the microphone and work him out.
Wait. I'm asking a very simple question. No, wait. Please.
the Supreme Court. Please, Supreme Court here. Wait a second. Please, your lordship. May I refer to lordship to section 266 of AGA? It's not court of law. What you're doing is not law.
Please.
You don't know the law.
Please.
Show me.
Please.
I said, show me. When you have the right to waive my right to hand address. Show me. It's what the Constitution says. Show me.
Well, I will rise and come back.
You cannot show me.
Can you please take him out? I'll come back.
You can't show me.
I rise.
So at this point, when the DSS was then taking him away, and he had the following to say, both to the people in there and to the prosecutor himself, right? Let's quickly listen to that as well. So they haven't started. This is the court as we speak, so that you guys know this is the court as we speak. Nothing is happening in the court. The lawyers, everyone is seated, waiting for the judge to read out the sentence, right? So, and here is what transpired when the judge then asked Nnamdi Kanu to be escorted out. That's the reason why. So many of you who've been asking question, why was he not in court when the judgment was being read, is because, okay, Chukwu, thank you for subscribing, is because he was being taken away, right? So
Show me. Which law says you can try me and I'm reading law? Show me. You cannot show me. You're a judge. You can't be a judge. You don't know law. You don't know law. Nonsense. Where is the family address? Where is it? Which law gave you the right to go my family address? Which law gave you the right? This is the place I try with me. What is this one doing here? What are you 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 doing here? This is the idiot that attacked me. This is the fool that attacked me. That's the idiot that attacked me. That's the fool. I'm going, don't touch me. I'm warning you, don't touch me. I'm warning you, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I said, don't touch me. Don't. Smart people. You don't know law. Show me where it says you can wear my right final address. Show me the law. Show me the law. Omotosho, show me the law. You don't know law. They are demoting you. You're writing rubbish. Show me the law. Unaddressed affidavit. You say you waive it. Are you doing their job for them? God will punish you now and forever. Only judgment, let it be on record. Any judgment given in this court is rubbish. Ask him where is the law. Ask Omotosho, where is the law?
Let's go, please.
Where is the law?
Let's go.
okay, so at this point, Nnamdi Kanu was escorted outside the court. That is the reason why he was no longer in the court when the judgment was given. Now, as I speak to you people, the hour is here. The judge has just entered the court. The judge has just entered the court. The judge has just entered the court. There is a crackling noise. We want to, okay, the crackling noise is fixed. So let's go back to. The court, the judge just entered the court because everyone stood. So I hope their microphone is loud enough for us to hear the verdict. the sentencing now. But if they are still wasting time, I can give us a quick recap of what we are likely to expect, because that's what the prosecutor requested, which is on count 1, 2, 4, 6, death sentence, and
May I please, Your Lordship?
okay.
Lord, my name is Adegboyega Awomolo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Siraj Saida, SAN. Mutalubi Ojo Adebayo, SAN. SH Bakun, Abbas A. Olaiwola, Akiyosoye Arosoyin.
These are the prosecution team.
Ayodeji Afalabi. My Lord, we are preparing for the prosecution, my Lord.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
the prosecution team.
Let me say this. How many people are here as consultants to the convicts?
Now, you see, the language has changed. The judge is now
Can you
using
stand
the
up
word
before I
convict.
call you?
So you see
You
Maxwell,
have 4.
you see
Can I
Agbo.
meet you? Give them the microphone.
So these were part of his legal team, but he
They are
fired all
legal
of them.
consultants to the
So they are
convicts.
no longer his lawyers.
They were lawyers
They are
to the
now
convicts before he
his
converted them to
consultants.
consultants.
Yes, my Lord.
What is your name?
My name is Dr. Maxwell Opara.
Here is the next person.
Along Ijimako is my name, Lord.
Thank you.
P.A.N. Ejofo.
Yes.
Prince Mandela.
Thank you. I just want it to be a record that it has a representative in court
In form of
that will
consultants.
go and tell him, please, you may sit down.
Sorry, my Lord. My Lord, I don't have his brief to represent him here.
It's okay, you may sit down.
Azeko, please.
My Lord, same. We don't have his brief.
Why are you here?
We are here as consultants, my Lord.
I'm coming. This morning, when we started, you acted as consultant. You went
Yeah.
to him, tell him to inform the court. I have the video here.
Yes.
You moved from that place, you went to the convicts. You told him what to say. And I have to say this.
I have to take your direct instructions, directives, my Lord.
But you are the consultant, are you not?
I am.
When you have
Thank you.
But we don't have his brief
It's okay.
in the real sense of it.
So it's okay. I'm just telling you so that you go and send him tell him this sentence. And I must say this: it is becoming getting to a level that I have to say this. We must act professionally. It is unheard that a defendant will, even in the open, slap his counsel to keep quiet while he's talking. He declared the counsel must not talk. This counsel was disengaged. And some of them were converted to consultants. And they come to court to act as consultants. And they are lawyers. And Ejimako acted as consultant this morning. And telling the court now that he does not have his brief. I'm not calling you as a lawyer. You have been converted to consultant that you ought to be, you ought to be. Please, I'm just telling you, get the sentence to him. That is an order from this court.
Very well, my Lord.
You are already here. Your name is on the list as consultants. As consultants all along. While he disengaged you, most of you have been coming as consultants. And I have it on record. It's not that the defendant has no legal access. He has access to legal experts. Please, you may sit down. Thank you.
My Lord, we are just concerned that we are not being put in some kind of legal
Thank you.
jeopardy.
You may sit down, please.
Thank you, my Lord.
Thank you. Sentence.
Sentence. So let's write.
I read the entire file from the time the matter started in 2015. No doubt, the convict has not acted well throughout this period. He has caused delay severally. He caused delay and started crying that his head unlawfully without trial. And also his unruly behavior from the beginning down to today, even today, is noticed. However, this court will not consider that in sentencing, as our God himself is merciful. He has been convicted, and this court is only being merciful to him because we have to be merciful as enjoined by our Lord Christ, Jesus Christ. The court is minded to sentence the convicts to death due to the atrocity he committed. The convict has not shown any remorse whatever for his actions. He remained arrogant, cocky, and full of himself without realizing the magnitude of his crime and the effect of what he has done against his people or representative representing the constituency of the convicts. Although I'm not really persuaded, but I must temper justice with mercy.
This is the sentence being read now.
The court is moved by chapter 23, verse 23 of Matthew, in the book of Matthew, to the fact that
Okay, now.
tithes of means and anise and cumin, and has omitted the weightier matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. This you ought to have done, particularly, and must notice the words in Matthew 23 and verse 23, the word mercy. Our Lord himself is merciful. No matter what we do, is a merciful God. It is on that note that the court will follow this above admonition of Jesus Christ in the above passage and show mercy to the convicts. In addition, the death penalty globally is now being frowned upon by the international community. Consequently, and in the interest of justice, I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment
Said it.
for the said counts 1,
2,
4, 5, and 6
1.
instead of death sentence. Life is sacred to God.
1
With
4.
respect to count 3, he is hereby sentenced to 20 years imprisonment without no option or fine. For count 7, he is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment without no option or fine.
It's finished.
To extend the mercy,
It's finished, people.
I hereby order that the sentence shall run concurrently. And due to the nature of the offenses that borders on terrorism and the attitude, violent nature of the defendants that I have taken judicial notice, the last adjourned date, he was so unruly and expressed violence, even was about to beat the security officers here. This morning, he repeated same. That has been his trait, his attitude. So I have no hesitation in coming to the conclusion that convicts has the tendency of violence the tendency of violence has not left him. It is based on this that he must be kept in facility that is suitable for his custody, as putting him in Kuje Correctional Center may not be appropriate.
Wow. Wow.
And also, I take judicial notice and that for conclusion of the judgment and from the exhibits that I've analyzed in my judgments, substantially, the convicts made use of computer device like phones in making broadcasts in sites and call for all these atrocities. It is based on that without hesitation, I agree with the counsel to the prosecution that the convicts must not be allowed near
Access to gadget.
any digital device, and if he must be closely monitored by the Office of the National Security Advisor. And also, with the atrocities, the number of killings, and the effect of the acts of the convicts on the people of Southeast, I think it deserved protective custody. Due to this offense, I ordered that if the convicts be kept in protective custody in any custodial center in any part of the country. And also, the objects of crime in respect of Camp 7 that has to do with the transmitter. The transmitter is hereby forfeited to the federal government.
Everyone over 18 can be a student, no matter the background.
I want to be a student here. What do I need to do?
You have to play 2 online games.
Thank you. And regards other exhibits, if at the expiration of the 90 days is statutory time for appeal, if there is no appeal, an application may be brought for necessary consequential order. Yes, thank you.
Let me again, on behalf of the people of Nigeria, thank the judiciary for this development. It is now clear that law has its consequences. And anybody who breaks the law must be ready to face the consequences. And besides, law must be obeyed for the peace of the society. Law and judicial institutions must be respected to avoid anarchy and lawlessness. I want to thank you again on behalf of the people of Nigeria, the judiciary, for this judgment. I hope and pray that many others will still learn from this decision, and I pray also that the Lord will give you health, strength, and advancement in your career. My Lord, 9 months have been very challenging. I'm grateful to your Lordship.
Thank you.
We on this side.
Once again,
Thank you.
in the next 15 minutes, you can collect the certified true copy of the judgments. Thank you. All right.
Okay, people. It's not 25 years, it's life imprisonment. Is because even when they run concurrently, what it means is that The 25 years, the 25, sorry, 20 years for count three, 5 years on count seven, 5 years on count, huh? Yeah, that they will run concurrently. So what it means, people, is that, you know, as they say, it's finito. On count one, two, four, and six, the prosecutor demanded for death sentence, but he had the argument of the judge. The judge argued that death sentence is now archaic, that international communities now frown at them, and he then committed it to um, life imprisonment, stating that the convict had shown no remorse, and that he was, in his words, that he was arrogant and cocky. Those were the two terms he used, that he was arrogant and cocky. So again, I think the next step now will be that, as I said in my earlier stream, that we may then likely to begin to see more moves for political solution, which I believe the president recalled that last month had pardoned quite a number of Nigerians who range from people who committed murder and people who were engaged in drug trafficking and many more, that the president had pardoned them. So this is not going to be quite different from what he had done before. And having said that, if you have any view and you want to join me to air your view, in the comment section is the link to join me is in the comment section, right? So the link to join me, and I think for those of you joining me from YouTube, if you look at the pinned message, you will see it there. The link to join me is there. It's quite the court is now deserted. Everybody is the people there are now dismantling all their their equipment. Outside, people outside are now leaving the court premises. I still hope, I didn't know that it's going to take this time, this long. I still hope that Maxwell Opera will still join me in by 6 o'clock Nigerian time for my analysis. But I do have others who had agreed to join my analysis as well. So do not miss that on Njenge Media TV. We will be analyzing what next. What next? I know that this is not a good time for the people of Southeast. And like I said before, and I mean it, people are not in good mood. Please, 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 if you are in the Southeast as we speak, if you have nowhere so serious that you want to go to, I beg you with everything I have, please stay home, because you cannot guarantee how people would behave moving forward, right? Please, if you're joining me, Zaki, if you're joining me, please endeavor to put on your camera. Endeavor to put on your camera here. If you're joining me, please endeavor to put on your camera. The judgment has been delivered. If you put on your camera, I can bring you in. Pay attention, people. Especially, I said it before. Many of you, it's either you don't understand what I was saying, or that you're just being plain naive. This is a case of terrorism, and it has been convicted, and this now has life sentence. For those of you who may be innocent, living in the diaspora, I say you have to be very careful moving forward now, because this landmark judgment changes a lot moving forward. So thank you very much, Mazi Chibueze. You're welcome. Hold on, hold on. Just hold on. The prosecutor is speaking. Let's see if we can hear what he's saying. Let's see if I can hear what the prosecutor is saying. He's granting press interview.
Does not allow me what happened to the inner west of the court. The profession does not allow me to tell people what happened in court. But today, we have come to a final end. Justice has been done. And therefore, Nigerians must, one way or the other, appreciate the judiciary. You remember just last Monday, the president was saying, at any time when Nigeria is in a big trouble or fix, judiciary has always come to the aid to salvage Nigeria. Again, the judiciary has salvaged Nigeria from the claws, from the oppression of the proscribed IPOB. The court has also pronounced death sentence on Eastern Security Network, which was the military wing of IPOB. The court has brought an end to injustice, oppression. Brothers and sisters of the eastern states of Nigeria, they will not be able to sleep with their two eyes closed. What is important is that every Nigerian must consider issue of security as his personal business. When you look away, compromise, or when you show fear, you are encouraging the miscreants, the vandals, the criminals, the terrorists to fester. This issue ought not to have festered for that long. Nigeria is our own country. We have no other country we can call our own. Secondly, it is our responsibility as Nigerians to help the government by way of information. You had during the trial information concerning how several heads of human skull were used to bury a scoundrel, somebody who is a criminal. So just because people were afraid, we all must be courageous enough to confront terrorism, criminality, and all sort of things. I know that, political insinuations or perspective will be put into this matter. I was in court in there when somebody was saying, oh, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. We are all Nigerians. We must love one another. We must not compromise the security of the country on the basis of those primordial sentiments. So I congratulate Nigeria today for seeing the end of this, and let it be a warning to those who may think they are bigger than Nigeria. One of us. The law is bigger than every one of us. And the law will take its course to deal with miscreants, to deal with terrorists, to deal with criminals. You know, all of us are victims when we keep quiet. All of us are victims when we don't do what we ought to do. Therefore, be a Nigerian. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, please, just step back. Please, can we have you now, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Wait, Honorable.
I think he's probably the Onyagocha or may have to then speak. Yes.
Well, let's stop now.
Okay.
The lawyers.
Okay, let's just stop, please.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'll hold the mic.
Are you going to do a count?
Okay. Are we good to go? Are we good to go now? I'd just like you to react to the judgment that has just been delivered. It's been a long battle from 2015 to now, but your client got life imprisonment. How are you going
Well, today we forever live Today is the only day I have witnessed a man being convicted for mere puffery, for what he said from his mouth, not what he did with his own hands. The verdict is not consistent with the evidence laid before the court. The sentence is overbroad, cruel, and unusual. How can you convict a man for making mere broadcasts from a location that was never named, and he never tied that broadcast to any single incident of violence, or even someone slapping someone, not to talk of terrorism? You did all this. This whole verdict can be grounded in law, logic of
I think since they're outside the court, probably their network is suddenly not strong anymore, depending on which network they are using. But let's maybe be slightly patient. Let's see if any other network is still on it. If NTA is clearer, let's see. I think NTA has left. NTA is already showing us agriculture as usual, right?
Check AIT.
So
I think AIT was on.
okay, so let's go back. I think
if the Court of Appeal disagrees with us, we head to the Supreme Court. But by God Almighty, Nnamdi Kanu is not going to stand convicted. Not at all. He's going to. And so what? And you convict him for terrorism for mere words in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What kind of precedent is being laid? So from here, we are heading to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is the only court in this country, or the next court in this country, that sits as a jury. We are going to approach the justices there to check out what happened in court today. And we are pretty sure the justices will agree with us that today was the symbol of the travesty of justice that everybody has been suspecting all along. If the Court of Appeal disagrees with us, we head to the Supreme Court. But by God Almighty, Nnamdi Kanu is not going to stand convicted. Not at all. He's going to get overturned. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Please,
I want you people to get something right. I want you people to get something right. First of all, I want to talk to the Igbos that nobody should take laws into your hand. I'm assuring you, this judgment is predicated on anger. Thank God that the judgment was extreme life and everybody watched it. You will see the anger in delivering the judgment, and it's not predicated on law. Now, I also want to let you know that this charge, that the investigation that gave rise to this charge was not investigated, because Nnamdi Kanu's statement, purported statement, was rejected by this court, and they did not tender any document as investigation report. That is to say, the investigation was not, the offense was not investigated. Having said that, also something that happened in court today, Nnamdi Kanu filed a matter in Court of Appeal, and he is asking, my lord, that particular matter I filed in Court of Appeal anchored on this particular issue. Please, can you just suspend this judgment? Let Court of Appeal direct what to do. My lord refused. Now, on the issue of anger, you journalists will bear with Nnamdi Kanu that government, Nigerian government, and the judiciary are not fair to Nnamdi Kanu. What do I mean? Nnamdi Kanu was given judgment by Court of Appeal
Okay. Um, Maxwell is frozen again. Let's see if we can get a clearer. No. The other one on the other platform, they are showing something else. Okay. If AIT is not showing this, then we may have to go ahead with the opinions that my guests, most of you that have joined me, please, if you're joining me, ensure that you put your camera on, please. This is not secret trial or anything. If you're joining me, ensure that you put on your camera on, right? So let's try once more if we'll get AIT. Where is AIT? What has happened? Okay, let's try NTA. I think NTA is back on. Guys, just hold on a minute. We are getting back to NTA now. NTA. Okay, so let's move to NTA now. And
But that judicial officer was calm and he did what he should do as a judicial officer. And he now went to the issue of conviction. The first one has to do with all the 7 counts. The 7 counts, Nnamdi Kanu was equally found guilty on the 7 counts. And if you take a look at the sentencing, after about one hour, the judge now came up with the sentencing. And now Nnamdi Kanu had been sentenced to life imprisonment on count 1, count 2, count 4, and count 5.
no, 6.
And on count 3, the judge handed down 20 years imprisonment for Nnamdi Kanu. And on count 7 is 5 years imprisonment. The truth of the matter is that Nnamdi Kanu has right of appeal over this matter. But one thing is clear, that it is a settled law that at any point in time, if a defendant becomes unruly in court, that defendant can be walked out of court and sentencing or conviction be made while he is not in court. It is right in law.
All right, Tilly, thank you so much for breaking it down for us. Thank you. We'll be getting more updates from you later. Thank you.
Okay, so that's NTA for you there, people. Now let's come down to the studio here. It's been a very, very, very long day, honestly. The only day I felt like this was the day of the 2023 presidential election. The day the result was announced in Abuja. I was in Abuja. I was in the court with my team. I stood there for close to 10 hours. I mean, that was unbelievable. Came back to the hotel room. My feet were really hurting, and one was shivering more or less. So here, guys. Please, if you're watching me and you have another device on, please turn the device off because it's giving feedback. Okay, thank you. So, Mazi, Chibeze, go ahead.
Thank you, my brother. I highly appreciate your effort and every other person watching and all the contributors. Thank you. Today is a day we did not want it to come, but it is what it is. All we have to ask ourselves is the kind of judgment we have, the kind of place we are. I want to ask a question because of what transpired in court today. What the judge ruled based on his analysis of the law. He ruled over the rendition, and thank God he admitted that it was extraordinary rendition from Kenya back. How are you standing on something that you know there is no stand for you to stand, but he ruled over it? I don't know what we call that. He cited some presidents from other countries, but none of them make sense based on what he cited on. George John said, renditioning him from Kenya back here, and he said that's okay, based on whatever he has said he has done. That's what I did not quite understand what the judge said about that. But I need to know more, or someone need to shed more light on that again. And another thing again, I wanted to point out to what the prosecutor said on his address. The prosecutor said that they have passed a death sentence on IPOB. I don't know what they mean by that, because that is not, I didn't understand, because many of them keep saying the same thing. IPOB means the indigenous people of Biafra. It comprises a lot of if we can be able to expatiate the word if they don't know what it means. We all, the Igbos, or you could call it, whether they call it outside, I don't know. I could say we all, the Igbos, are indigenous people of Biafra. Say that you have passed death sentence on them, it's a broad word that needs someone to be.
No, sorry. I think. Sorry, someone's mic is crackling. Someone's mic is crackling real bad. Let me mute you and see if it's coming from you. Okay, it's coming from you. For some reason, I think it's your headset or something like that. But it's fine. You're muted now. You're muted. So I just need to. I think your headset, your Bluetooth or whatever is crackling. Okay, so let me. What's happening, guys? Okay, let me try to attempt. Someone's mic is really, okay. So let me try to attempt your question. The first question is, please, can we hold on. Let me see who's okay. I think it's gone now, but let me come back again and make this a clarification. To your point, I do not think the prosecutor meant as a people. He was very clear when it, and we must be very careful that we don't misuse these nomenclatures. When he said IPOB, he didn't refer to Ndibo. He didn't refer to Southeast and South-South. He referred to an entity. He referred to an organization, right? And not every Igbo person or every South-South person belongs to this organization. So we have to be very clear on that, so that we don't, go ahead and begin to drive narrative that are unhelpful to us now. While this is an emotional moment for many, but it's not time to begin to twist whatever has been said. Remind me of your first question. Sorry, so I can attempt. I'm not a legal person, but at least you can unmute, please. Those of you at the background, I'll still bring you back because I think some of your microphones are cracking. Sorry, okay. Remind me of your first question again.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the point I was making, just like what you just said, let us not go back and front, but I was just, putting it clear to everybody that IPOB means Indigenous People of Biafra. You may think, oh, you are not that, or it's not organization. It is the name. That's what it means. So it's just like when you are coming from wherever you come and you're landing and where you say, where are you from? Or whenever you're filling your documents, you are filling what part of the country you're from. You have to state it. It's obvious wherever you are, even in Nigeria, even in abroad. So when you say, oh, this is the part you are coming from, that's what they characterize there. But let's go to my first this thing I said then. When the judge was ruling, there are something he overruled because he, based on what I heard, he said that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was extraordinary rendition. He admitted that, and it's on the record. So I did not see why he says that is okay. Because if someone ran away, there is why he ran away. And that has to be addressed before anything. And before you can bring that person back, that person have the right for life to that place.
Okay.
That place to
let's let me quickly address this. Let me quickly address it so that we'll move on. If you had joined us earlier, I think the judge himself, in his submission when he read the judgment, made it very clear. He referenced a Supreme Court judgment, which even the Nnamdi Kanu's legal counsel have made references to before now, that the Supreme Court acknowledges that it is illegal, which is extraordinary rendition, to bring him back. That is no one is arguing that, not even the judge himself. But in the eyes of the law, that the moment you appear before a court, irrespective of how you were being brought there, even through juju, that they don't at that point care. So again, this is not a matter of opinion, how we feel, how we think about it. It is also about, I'm glad, to be honest with you, you see, there are certain areas where the legal channel in the country must begin to also mature. I like what Ejimako said, that the legal team will be doing the needful. It was the needful. Look at this verdict. If we get the CTC, the judge said the CTC will be ready in the next 15 minutes from the point of delivering that judgment. Read it through, prepare your own defense case, go to the appeal court. Even after the appeal court, there is still the Supreme Court. So there is still the Supreme Court to go to. And in all this, in between now, I do feel that maybe before this case even gets to the Supreme Court, the political side would then probably have to kick in at some point. I am of the belief, and I'm very, very convinced that that is the way out, right? It's done. It's done. I mean, it's the judgment has been delivered. It is now for them to appeal, and in the appeal, if they are not satisfied, but bear in mind, if they appeal and the appeal tallies with what the judgment gives, I do not think that the Supreme Court outcome will be, drastically different. Anyway, Gideon, thank you very much. Your take.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I am disappointed. This made me emotional, but I'm not broken. Let me quickly touch somewhere, sir. You were trying to wave when my brother here said POB and the entire classifying all Igbos as IPOB. to be honest with you. I'm in Lagos, and that's how they see us here. So when they mention IPOB, that's you are not different from those ESN, the ones that are in the bush in the southeast. You understand? And that is why that man that made mention of bringing ESN to Lagos to guide the properties of the Igbos was picked up the next day, locked up until today. I don't think he has been released. That's point number one. I do not have any hope as long as Nigerian judiciary is concerned. Going to appeal court, Supreme Court, I do not have any hope. One is that you touched the case of 2023 general election, right? You covered it live. You were there, both during the course. I've been your follower.
Oh, quite unfortunate. His network yanked him off, but I hope that he comes back quickly. Comrade Francis. Okay, Gideon is back. Gideon, you're back. So can you round up? I think maybe your network yanked you off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if we notice what happened during the judgment of His Excellency Peter Obi during the 2023 general election, we were all hoping that appeal court would, from the appeal court, that was where I lost it. I knew this whole thing would be addressed as an Igbo issue. And lastly, sir, you see, we are all Biafrans. To be honest with you, there is nothing, Nigeria will never judge any Igbo man's case. There was something I mentioned in the comment section before even the conclusion of the judgment, that the Boko Haram leader that made his confession of losing count of the lives he has wasted got only 20 years imprisonment. Nnamdi Kanu, without any life missing in his hand, got life. That should tell you the difference between an Igbo man and other tribes. That is where you begin to take the judgment of Nigeria out of your mind when it comes to delivering justice to an Igbo man. You understand? In fact, I have a whole lot to say, but let us continue. Let another person. I will still be here, sir.
Yeah, thank you for your. I mean, like I said, emotions are really high, and it may not be the best time. Everybody needs to first of all digest the judgment, have a better understanding, and it is what it is. So, Francis.
All right. Good evening from here, host, and everyone. I want to start by thanking you for this privilege to hear my view here, or rather my submission. Yeah, and I'm going to start by, let's say, what somebody said here, the person that just left before Gideon. And Gideon also mentioned that whether you like it or not, provided that you are from the Igbo extraction, you are seen as an IPOB. And what does the acronym stand for? Indigenous People of Biafran. I want to ask, is there any law, is there any country that has tagged the Indigenous People of Biafran to the terrorist group? Is there any? Please, let me hear from you. Is there any? I'm sure I've not come across that there's any law, international or locally, that has said that the Indigenous People of Biafran are terrorists. Okay, let's go quickly to what this man stands for. We're in a country that I don't want to talk about the hate, I don't want to talk about the injustice, but one thing for sure is that there's nemesis for everything people does today. Even I can categorically tell you that I was not surprised over the outcome of the judgment. I wasn't surprised. Because when you are in a place, it's just like somebody you had issue with someone, and the person that offended you, the person to judge the case is the person's father. What do you expect? So, okay, now let's say the judge was also saying temper justice with mercy, and he was pointing at, yeah, Mazen and the Carlo, he made a broadcast. But the question is, like, from the whole thing that was read, was it found with anything? Was there any broker that stated that this is because of what he did? He mentioned a particular place and this is what took place. Now, coming to the area when the judge was saying that he was being rude, who will tell me that if you are a human being, you've been under persecution for 10 years, and you expect to be, whether no matter how you want to manage it with the level of injustice, you will never be calm, knowing fully well that probably you feel within you that what you are being persecuted of is not what is expected. So, but I will end up by saying that it's a shame to the Southeast political class. Yes, because when you fail to stand out for your own, either because of selfish interest or whatsoever, yes, it might be from Mazen and the Kano today, but tomorrow it might likely be from somebody from the West. There's always turn around in government and all that. Yeah, so you might feel probably a lot of people were writing on the comment section, even without knowing what this man stood for. I took time to like go through his broadcast because of these things. I noticed that this man was standing for fairness, equity, and dividend of democracy. And his fight alone, his struggle alone was not strictly just for the Igbos. He was mentioning the West in some of his broadcasts, that we can't be in a country and we live as a slave. And thank God he maintained that very stand. You know, the worst thing that can happen to a man is being in your homeland, in your country, and you are living as a slave. And that same spirit was still with him. That was not arrogancy. That was just someone who feel that this injustice is so much more on me. It's not arrogancy, just like the judge said. But I really want to thank people like Aloy and as many who followed him, yeah, not being ashamed of him. And hopefully that even when they proceed, whether we like it or not, the law is supreme. The law is supreme. So as many who has followed him in these parts, and when they proceed to appeal courts, if appeal court they made fit to say, okay, let's look into this man case and show him mercy as well. I think it will be a good one. And if they still want to go it political, because I, like you said earlier, I've looked into it from when the spokesperson came and said there's nothing can be done unless the courts probably conclude their judgment and others. And even if it goes political, I hope that the presidency or any other body that will do that should see reasons to look into this man case and know very well that his agitation was actually for the meaningful of the country and not actually to break the country or so. That is how I viewed it. It was just for the progress of the country. So that is it also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think for the unperturbed time, I will re-emphasize I am not unconscious of the dichotomy between Nigerians and the relationship with Igbo. I am also not unmindful of how others view me. I do not own a property in Lagos, not that I cannot afford it, but I own it for my own sanity and safety. So not to think that I am not conscious of that. However, if I stay with what the prosecutor said and made reference to IPOB. It is wrong. No matter how you want to look at it, you want to say equate Biafra with Igbo. Biafra does not equate Igbo. Please, we must stop this. Now, Ndi Igbo must also, at some point, find how we could the term Biafra was more than Igbo. It was between the south of today and southeast, with the exception of Delta and Edo. If not, every other state, the four states of south were within the enclave Biafra. So for us to, and a people today will tell you they do not want to be part of this entity. So, we need to begin to deconstruct certain things. sometimes it is in a place that I don't want to get necessarily deep dive into. But if sometimes we speak to, if care is not taken to misinform, certain narratives need to be corrected, right? And some of us, if in the comment section we say, well, the Igbo predates Biafra, I say, no, you have very poor knowledge of history. Ndi Igbo has been always in existence even when Christ was on earth. So it's, whether it was called Abo, EBO, Igbo, IBO, or Igbo, it has always been a people within a particular region. And to now begin to equate that an ancient people, Ndibo, the ancient people, to a child of necessity that was Biafra, a Portuguese child that was named a bite, that was named by the Portuguese when they came the other day, and a people that have been, if the earth existed millions of years. So, honestly, it's not the reason of this, but let's again not misconstrue what has been said. We know there are certain things happening in Nigeria that is not right and is not palatable and not to be, but we must not, in speaking to it, distort the facts. The facts remain what they are. Now, I appreciate the fact of what you said, that of about the appeal court. I want to be very hopeful like you and like many other people. And hopefully within this week, tomorrow is going to be Friday. So hopefully by tomorrow or latest by next week, that they would approach the appeal court and make their submission. And I can also take the comments of people here. One, I can't remember who made this comment that which prison is he going to. The judge made it very clear. He's not, the no prison was mentioned. He only said a place where he will be safe, a place where he will have no access to gadgets, as the crime he was accused of and convicted of were perpetrated using multimedia gadgets. Therefore, they want to make sure that, according to what the prosecutor requested, that he does not have access to these gadgets. Well, but he specifically mentioned that he doubts, or that he's not recommending Kuje, which brings me to the point to ask, if Kuje is in Abuja and ought to be one of the safest prisons in Nigeria, is the judge telling us what we know or what we don't know, that Kuje is actually not safe? Recall a couple of prison breaks that has happened in Nigeria in the last 5 years. I think 2 of them had happened in Kuje, right? I think there was a time the Boko Haram, guys went in there in overload, even when, to overrun the place, even when there was more or less prior knowledge that these individuals were going to strike. And indeed, they succeeded when they struck. So, having said all this, I say to you guys, it is what it is. I put it that way, right? But what I ask of us, in case if you're listening to me from the Southeast, I'm going to tell us, you better be calm. Do not act stupid. Do not harm any of your brothers. Do not act rash. He still has an opportunity of Supreme Court, appeal court, Supreme Court, and other political solutions, if you so wish, but do not act in any manner that will endanger anybody's life, and also your life. Okay, so join me in the next 45 minutes. I will be having some legal experts join me here to take some of your questions, the legal implication of what just happened, what next. I do not know. I'm not a lawyer, but at least I do have common sense. But like I said, we will definitely keep talking about this to understand what next. Because when I had some conversation last night with some lawyers, Some of the things that the judge said today were already said by those lawyers, basically, that this is what they are anticipating and this is what they think will happen next. But one thing is very clear, that everybody in that call was of the agreement that irrespective of what the outcome of today's judgment and sentencing is, they do all believe that there is going to be a second option. And that second option is what the political class would eventually be very useful to. And Comrade Francis, you mentioned something with, you said Igbo elite or Igbo politicians. I think, again, there is nothing our Igbo politicians elite. Sorry, hold on. Okay. Sorry, your microphone was interfering, so I had to push you back. There is nothing the Igbo politician or Igbo elite are doing that other politicians and the elite in other regions are not doing, or even worse than ours. Sadly, that this case has gotten to this point, but there is nothing. The moment he was arraigned, there is nothing anybody could have done. Assuming he stayed back in England, probably there is no, it's almost impossible to have gone to England to kidnap him the way they did in Kenya. So, it was in Kenya, and at that point, that the office of the NSA, in conjunction with whoever they did that operation with for that extraordinary rendition, for the moment that happened, there is nothing, and absolutely nothing. So it is unfair to the political elite or the politicians. I'm not defending anyone, but it is unfair to anyone to say, oh, you could have done this. There is nothing they could do because it was outside their control. The only thing anybody could do is the same thing that Professor Obiozo late has done, Professor Ben Nwabeze late has done, Mbazurika Mechi, the boy is good. The same thing is to appeal. These three individuals late, three of Ben Nwabeze, right? Is he still alive? I don't know. But these three individuals, they all basically asked for the same thing. I think Mbazurika Mechi was actually saying, release him to me, I'll take him home. He's my son and whatnot. So they could only appeal to the president. Obiozo begged to be released to him. Even after those beggings, his house in Omoma was eventually burnt down. Come on, people. So these are our realities today. No matter what, it is, it is what it is. And I say to us, in your moment of anger, just think that this mess and madness that we have sunk ourselves into has to stop. It has to. If you no matter what you're pursuing, it has to stop. Christmas is coming. Your siblings, your brothers, your sisters are all coming home. If they come home, are you, not an external force, you going to make their stay a palatable one? Or are you going to make it a disaster? I shared with us here last Christmas how from my maternal side, over 50 million was lost, and just barely 3 weeks later, from my paternal side, the same surname, a cousin of mine that we just stayed all together, more than 50 million was lost. Who in 2, 3, 4 weeks loses 100 million just for what? Just to pay ransom. For what? We must bring back our Igbo, right? An Igbo has to come back to what it used to be. On this note, let me have a break and prep my guest. We will be coming back to you by 6 o'clock Nigerian time. I am Mazi Ezoke. Speak to you later all. Bye for now.
La la la.